My name is Addison Amick. I'm going to be interviewing Annabella Easton, my future roommate at Texas State, over the drama and the relationship that Harry Styles and Taylor Swift had. All right. So, Annabella, tell me about all of the stuff that you know about Taylor and Harry, where you started with this drama, how you found out about it, if you are interested in Harry, whatever you feel, just let me know.
Okay, well, I am a Harry Styles fan, but I've always been more of a Swiftie, a Taylor Swift fan. I was a fan of One Direction when they were around. I got to see them in concert when I was little, and Harry was always my favorite out of the bunch. And so I followed him when he went into his solo career. But like I said before, I've always been mostly focused on Taylor. And so when they dated I think it's 2012. I'm not entirely sure on the year, but they dated a while ago. And then Taylor released an album shortly after. And there are multiple songs on that album that are like hinted to be about him. There's one song that's called Style, which about Harry Styles. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like in your face with it. And then Out of the Woods, Wonderland. And then on her newer album, she also has some songs that are hinted to be about him. Question. Maroon is mentioned, but I don't really know about that one.
Yeah.
But I do know that they've kind of hinted that songs could be about each other. With Taylor, she's kind of like more straightforward with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and Taylor's known for being very blatant
mm-hmm.
and not trying to hide how she feels in any situation, but especially with guys, she's known for writing songs about exes. I mean, that you think about Taylor Swift and you think, oh, I'm going to write a song about my ex. And you can go on any social media, Instagram, especially TikTok is where you can find a lot of them, and type in Taylor Swift talking about her exes. And I mean, you see it at award shows, you see it at talk shows. I mean, talk shows, you see it at where she gets interviewed on talk shows and stuff like that. But she's just known for that. She's known for talking about exes and keeping her relationships like kind of in the public eye up until her most recent one. But yeah, she's known for writing songs and not hiding who they're about. And I'm pretty sure she's known for dedicating whole albums to exes, correct?
Yes. So with certain albums, they are like heavily like she said before that an album is like a chapter of her life that she's writing about. So with like the album for Red, it is all about like Jake Gyllenhaal. And then Speak Now, Taylor Lautner, different people,
Yeah.
John Mayer. And 1989 is pretty like heavily implied that it's about Harry Styles.
Yeah. We do know one thing about Harry Styles and Taylor Swift, and that is that their relationship wasn't necessarily a bad one. It was kind of just like a short-lived one. And there's not much information out about it. I mean, you can look online, there's a lot of speculations, but nothing has been confirmed by either of them. But there are a few songs that you even mentioned it yourself that you're kind of like, yeah, this has to be about them. I mean, there's no way that they're gonna write this. I mean, the song Style, it that is
It's in your face.
blatant, yeah, it's right there. But Harry, on the other hand, is not known for writing songs and telling you what they're about. I mean, there are a handful that he's like, yeah, like this is who it's about, this is what it's about. But his songs are very much open for interpretation. It is for people to view it how they want to view it, to think about it the way they want to think about it, and try to decipher what the meaning is behind it. But we see in his first album, Harry Styles, self-titled Harry Styles, that he wrote a song called Two Ghosts. And the first line in the album is same lips red, same eyes blue, and then same white shirt, couple more tattoos. Well, if you go and you look, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you that shows these albums. Just one second. If you go and you look at these albums, you can see in her 1989 album, which is supposedly dedicated to Harry Styles, that you can see the iconic red lip that Taylor Swift is known for. And it's not necessarily a white shirt, but she's known for wearing the white shirt and the black hat and the red lip and the blue eyes. And so I'm just going to play this first like line for you so that you can hear how just uncanny this is. I mean, there's not many other people that he could have wrote this about. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip that first line.
Same lips red, same eyes blue, same white shirt, couple more tattoos. It's not you, it's not me.
So obviously after listening to that, you can kind of be like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty obvious. And
I think even that maybe the white shirt, well, I do think you're right about the white shirt and the black hat being like an iconic look of hers. I also think that that could possibly be about him. Because
yeah,
if you look at style, she says that she's got the red lip classic look that he likes, and he's got like the white shirt and like slicked hair. And I think that it's crazy to look at the two songs next to each other because you can
yeah.
really see how they're
Yeah, I mean it's almost like and I actually have never even thought about it that way, because obviously you, like I said, you are a Taylor Swift
Mhm.
fan as much as I am a Harry Styles fan. I mean, it's looking over me right now, but if you look at the song, you're right. I mean, he's known for the white shirt and being just completely tatted out, tattoos all over his body. And there's, I think, one picture you can search up when you search up Harry Styles when he was associated with One Direction, and it's him in this white shirt and like a lot more tattoos and like the just iconic One Direction Harry Styles. And I'm pretty sure that this era where this picture just blew up was around the time that him and Taylor had just ended things, I think, at least I believe. But yeah, I had never even noticed that. I had always thought about it as her white shirt and the black hat.
Well,
And
yeah, I do know exactly what you're talking about too, because with the Red album, she wore the black hat and the white shirt for a while.
yeah,
It's
and
just funny to see how it could be for both of them.
yeah. And if you look and you keep reading, as you see my screen, it says
Mhm.
we're just two ghosts swimming in a glass half empty, trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat. And this part, I mean, this part I feel like is just all kind of up for like interpretation, because like I said, their relationship was not very public. It was to an extent, but the internal like intrinsics of it were not just out for public eye. No one really knows like what happened. I'm pretty sure it was just a mutual breakup, things happen, but kind of curious. You also mentioned that there were more than one song. She has a
Right.
few more that are kind of like,
Yes.
this is about him.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Style is like the main one. Out of the Woods is about the two of them together. How You Get the Girl. A lot of these are kind of like known to be about him. And then recently she just released the Midnight album, and people think that Question could be about him. Which is interesting since it has been like 10 plus years since they dated.
And Harry actually released a new album also last year. He released it in 2022. So pretty similar time frames that these two albums are released in, like within a few months of each other, maybe. I think so, at least from what I believe. But they're in a few months of each other. And Harry also released a song that is also speculated to be about Taylor. From my point of view, I don't really see it, but fans do. I'm just gonna play a few lines. It is from his most recent album, Harry's House. It is called Daylight, and I'm just gonna skip to the middle of it. Okay, now that I'm sitting here and reading it, the lyrics, maybe it is.
Yeah, the New York really gets it.
So Taylor Swift, as you know, has a song called what is it called again?
Welcome to New York.
Yeah. So now that I read this, I'm like, okay, I see the similarities. Mentions New York in it, which Harry isn't the Taylor Swift song out of Welcome to New York, is that about Harry Styles?
I think that one's more about just her moving to New York, but when they were together, it was while she was like just now moving to New York City, and all of the photos that were like publicized of them together are in New York City.
Let's listen to this part and see. I actually have never seen that, but I definitely could see now that I read it why that could be about her. I mean, I didn't even notice that in the first place. But Yeah, so on another note, do you keep up with like the Harry Styles drama? I don't know if you do. Obviously his life is very publicized, so it's kind of just out there, but are you like an avid like follower of what goes on with his tour and all of that? Yeah.
I would say yes. I do like to keep up with like the music that I like, so I do follow the artist. And a lot of my close friends, like you and my cousin, and a lot of my family friends are very big Harry Styles fans, and so I feel like it feels like he's always touring, and so I constantly see
Yeah.
people seeing him on tour, or he's got a new album coming out, and that's very big. And I do listen to his albums once they come out, so I do try to keep up with him when he's in the news or when he's posting and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes on my TikTok feed all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the joke where it's that they're a divorced parents.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like,
Yes.
my divorced parents, they're both on
Yeah,
tour.
I love the joke. It's so
And
cute.
there's a lot of speculation now, especially since they've both matured so much and they're a
Mhm.
lot older now, that they are going to maybe release a song. Everyone is like, are y'all going to release a song? Release a song. We want to see y'all on a song together, which personally I would love. I am not obviously the biggest fan of Taylor, but I do really like her. I know more songs than I thought I originally did. And she's also always on my For You page. I would love to see a song of them. I think it'd be great.
I think that, well, with the divorce joke, I think it's so funny because a lot of Taylor fans are Harry Styles fans and vice versa. And when they did date, they were about our age. So, like 20 years old. Now that they're, both in their 30s, I think is Harry in his 30s. Yeah. So they have matured, they've toured, they've released all these albums, they've experienced so much more of life. And Taylor Swift is re-recording all of her albums, and one of the albums she will be re-recording is 1989.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people, would like him to be mentioned. If they did Style or Out of the Woods with Harry Styles as a feature, it would just blow up and be
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And if you go and look, you can go on TikTok and you can type in when they were at the Oscars. I believe it was the Oscars. They
Mhm.
have always just been so cordial to each other. I mean,
Yes.
I believe it was either this year or last year. I know one year when it was masks were still a mandate.
Mhm.
Harry Styles won, and she stood up and gave him a big hug. And then this year at the Grammys, he was singing. Yeah, not the Oscars, the Grammys. When
Mhm.
he was singing at the Grammys, he kind of had a malfunction where his stage was spinning. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it spun backwards. And so the whole thing was like he was like nervous, like it took him off guard, it shook him up a little bit. And she was one of the only ones. She stood up in the crowd
Mhm.
clapping and cheering for him, and trying to get everyone else up around her to clap and cheer. And so I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to see them like have a good relationship. It's not like
Yes.
like
I
any
mean, like, if you look at all of their interviews over the years, anytime they've mentioned each other, it's always been in a positive light. They've
yeah.
never bashed each other. I don't think Harry would do that. I don't
Yeah, I don't
necessarily
either.
think that Taylor would, but she does do little jabs at people. But she's always been very positive about, Harry. And then I have seen the videos, she goes up to him and they hug, and it like blew up all over Twitter and things like that. And
Yeah.
everyone's just happy to see that they're still friendly.
Yeah.
And then I did see the video of um her standing for him, and then I saw, I'm not entirely sure if this was true, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that when he won an award, someone screamed that Beyonce maybe should have won it, and or another artist, and that's happened to Taylor in the past with like the infamous Kanye moment. And so when, I'm not even sure if this happened, but when I saw the video about it, she was like standing up and clapping and just showing support
Yeah.
and just being one of
Yeah,
the
I've
first
seen
people
that
to
also.
support him.
Yeah. I definitely think that they've both they're completely different people than what they like used to
Mhm.
be. And I'm quoting a song. I mean, they're both two completely different people. He used to be known for being this like infamous playboy, like,
Mhm.
kind of like mysterious. And now he's like dancing around on stage, and he puts on a great show, very supportive. He's an ally to the LGBTQ. He's all for Black Lives Matter.